toast to their career.
The perfect combination, boy.
Hip hard legends in the South.
This is sports fans' only home for the hottest sports show around. These guys are on fire.
You're now listening to KJ and Sean Mack. Now let's talk some damn sports.
Thanks for tuning in, sports fans only. C. Anthony back with another video. On deck, Jose Benavidez, quote, Caleb Plant will be hospitalized by Canelo Alvarez. So that's the trainer, and Jose Benavidez, that's trainer of David Benavidez and the brother Jose Benavidez Jr. He predicts that that Plant will be hospitalized when he faces off against Canelo for the IBF super middleweight championship later this November. It's been a lot of talks about this fight. First it was going to happen, then it seemed like it might not happen, but now it seems like it's on. Also, Eddie Reynoso said that that's the fight that geared toward, but Benavidez and Bivol are still in the picture also, so this isn't in stone, but this is probably a fight that they're going to get. A lot of people have been talking about some issues with Canelo with the catch weight with this and losing weight and rehydration clauses and things like that. I'm gonna just say, Canelo, I feel like he's just following the footsteps of some of the other people who were A-sides, like the A-sides in the sport. As far as like Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd, he had to bend and fold to some of his demands, to the Oscar's demands. Then the same thing when Floyd became the A-side. Floyd called the shots. He got what he wanted during the negotiations. So I would say right now Canelo is the ultimate A-side. So it's going to be some fluctuations in the way he wants to handle contracts and negotiations. And I feel like he's worked for that. And that's something you have to deal with in the sport. The only way you can overcome that is for you to become the A-side. And back to the statements. We all know that Canelo, he did put Billy Joe Saunders in the hospital. I think Billy Joe suffered a fractured over the bone, which he had to have surgery with. Hope he recovers and maybe he'll come back to the sport at some time, but he did have to have the surgery. So Jose Benavidez Sr., he did make that statement. He says he thinks that that's going to be the same thing that happens to Plant. He sees Plant as lesser opponent than Billy Joe Saunders. I will say that Plant, he can fight, but I think just going up against Canelo is going to be a little bit too much for him, even though Canelo's going up. I just don't see him being able to take the shots and the punishment of Canelo. And then also Benavidez Jr., he also, Jose Jr., he also chimed in and said that he thinks that a lot of Canelo's competition, they're scared when they get in the fight. They're not ready to stand there and bang it out. And I kind of understand what he's saying. And Senior also reiterated that a lot of the competition, they want to back up from Canelo, not get hit. And then they feel a little bit of the pressure of the punches on the arm, on the body, and they really hurt. They keep eyes on Canelo, and they're speaking on this Plant situation because they know at some point in time, David Benavidez, he's probably going to be in the ring with Canelo. But they made a lot of good points that when David actually faces off against Canelo, when it happens, that he's not going to be backing up. He's going to actually come to Canelo, press him a little bit, whether it's the hard shots, the soft shots, just going to keep him busy. We all know Canelo plants heavy on that left foot. He likes to leap into that left hook and also come up sometimes with the right hand, right to the body, sometimes to the jaw, sometimes to the body. But Canelo, he's doing it all with the left hook and with the right uppercut. And those are big power punches that he plants down. So they want to kind of close the distance against Canelo if Benavidez faces him. But as for the statement he said about Caleb Plant being hospitalized, I kind of agree with that. I feel like if Plant sits down and try to trade, I think for one, he has a really good jab and he's quick. I think when he sits down to trade, he'll feel the Canelo power. I don't think he'll come forward and press. So this will be a fight I think that Canelo's going to take. It's going to be, I think he'll actually end this early, and that statement he made is very, very possible. He could go to the hospital and have to get a surgery or something like that. Canelo is, I feel like at this point, he's really not to be played with. When you take those body shots and those power shots from Canelo, it's not going to be easy. Also, I like to say I like Canelo's future outlook with against Bivol or Benavidez, because both of those fighters going to have to adjust to Canelo. Canelo won't have to adjust to them. They're going to have to deal with his style, like it or not, and he might be able to take both of those guys out. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that. But Canelo, he's definitely well-rounded. He's coming into the point in his career where he's calling the shots. Like I said, he's the ultimate A-side, doing what Floyd did, also doing what Oscar De La Hoya did. So I'm right there on point with Jose Benavidez Sr. with this may end up real bad for Caleb Plant, but when you think on it, he's probably gonna get hurt, but he's gonna get a lot of money, and he's probably gonna be really happy with the outcome, because this will be the biggest fight he can get. And on the flip side of that, I want to just speak about some other fighters. As far as Canelo competition, I mentioned Benavidez and Bivol, but there's also Andrade. Then you have Charlo. I think a couple months ago I might have made a video about the Charlo taking out Benavidez and being able to get to Canelo, but I'm starting to think all those fighters, they waiting for that paycheck instead of fighting each other. I like to see Andrade maybe go against Charlo, maybe Benavidez versus some of those other fighters. It's just a lot of other fights to be made rather than everybody trying to take the ass whipping and get the big check with Canelo, when Canelo is still progressing. I think in about 12 months, we're going to probably get 4 to 5 fights from him when you look back what he's been doing from this year and then last year also. So I'm going to leave it right there. And I'm going to agree with Jose Benavidez, that they're keeping eyes on Canelo and all his moves. They see this as a real easy fight for Canelo. I see the same. I think this fight is going to be coming in November. But like I said, a lot of talks about the catch weight and the things that Canelo's doing. But this fight right here on the table, I don't think that Caleb Plant can let this get past him, because he's not going to see a paycheck like this ever. This will be a big one for him. So I'm going to leave it right there. Agree with Jose Benavidez. You like the content, you like Canelo, hit that like button, share, subscribe. Mexico, stand up. Peace.